You might think that you buy the house and move in the next day and everything's good to go, but it's usually not that easy. Buying a home can leave you broke, but it doesn't have to. Kamusta everyone, I'm Georgina, a qualified loan expert and co-founder of Estra Finance here in the Philippines. We create these videos to ensure Filipinos are equipped with the most informed financial decisions and help turn their dreams into reality. In today's video, we'll be discussing the cost of becoming a homeowner and some hidden costs that might catch you by surprise. Make sure you stay till the end to hear my number one tip to help you buy your first house. Buying a home is a big milestone that requires a lot of time, effort, research, paperwork, and most importantly, money. But you will need more cash than the sale price asks for to cover the closing costs of your home. So let's talk about the most obvious payment first, your initial deposit or your down payment. A bank will typically only lend you a maximum of 80% of the property's appraised value. And you might think that this means, great, you only need to save 20% for the down payment. But this is not actually quite true. When buying a home in the Philippines, the size of your down payment will vary depending on the type of property you're purchasing and who you're purchasing it from. Your down payment amount will increase if the bank thinks you can't afford to pay back the loan amount they give you. The bank will dictate this loan amount based on what they think you can afford the monthly amortizations to be. If they don't think you can afford this, they'll lower the loan amount and ask you to pay a bigger deposit. If you're purchasing from an accredited developer, your down payment will usually be 20% of the contract price of the property. Every developer is different, but it is common to see payment plans for the deposit if you pay 10% up front and then the remaining 10% over monthly installments during the build period. If you're buying via a private seller or a third-party seller, this can be a bit trickier. The bank may appraise a home lower than the asking price. Let's look at an example. If a seller prices their home at 2 million pesos, but the bank appraises the home at 1.8 million, then they will only give you 80% of that 1.8 million, meaning you have to give 560,000 pesos or 28% as a down payment. So to summarize, not only do you need to save 20% for the down payment, but you may also need to save more to make up for that difference in appraisal value by the bank. And if you can save even more than this, putting down a larger deposit means you are more likely to be approved for a loan. And you can also save money on interest fees in the long term, but I'll speak about that in another video coming out soon. But besides the deposit, you also need to set money aside for the closing costs. So what are closing costs? This is a term that refers to the fees involved with securing your home that are in addition to the deposit and the final selling price. The phrase covers things like one-off payments, but it can also refer to things like processing fees, mortgage insurance, and even taxes. So processing fees. There are a lot of documents that need to be signed during the sales process, and getting them signed isn't free. Now, signing your contracts and putting the property in your name are all normal parts of the sales process, but the price of doing it can really add up. And I can't tell you how much it's going to cost because it's calculated as a percentage of the property's value. That means the more expensive house you buy, the more you'll pay in processing fees. Just for your reference though, here are the most common fees you can expect to pay when buying your house. There's documentary stamp tax, which is 1.5%, transfer tax, which is anywhere between 0.5 and 0.75% depending on the location, so if you buy in Metro Manila or not. The title registration fee is usually between 0.25% and 1%, real property tax, which is 1 to 2% annually, plus any real estate agent fees like property appraisal fee of 5,000 pesos, which is paid before you even get approved for a loan and is completely non-refundable, and any notarization fees. This list may not be inclusive depending on your bank and real estate agent, so make sure you ask up front before you sign a contract what the fees will be. But I will also point out that there are banks who include most of these fees as part of your loan. And as of the time of filming, it's currently called all-in financing, and only BDO, BPI, and Security Bank offer it at this time. All-in financing means you don't have to pay the closing costs up front, and instead they're part of your monthly amortizations with your loan. But like I mentioned, not every bank does this, so this might influence your decision on which bank you choose to get a loan from. Insurance fees aren't technically closing costs because they're a recurring payment, but it's still a good idea to prepare to pay for it in advance. If your bank doesn't offer insurance as part of their loan fees, or they do and you don't like it, you don't like their provider, this is something you will have to pay for out of pocket. A few examples of insurances you might want to include are mortgage redemption insurance, fire insurance, natural disaster cover like typhoons, earthquakes, or floods. There's contents insurance to help protect your expensive belongings like your white goods and your TVs and other electronics, smoke damage, acts of terrorism, plus many, many more. There are a lot of companies that offer comprehensive home insurance cover that you can look into. So find a cover that suits your needs and don't pay for what you likely don't need. Now, in the same vein, here's a fun fact for you that I like to call big bank privilege. Some banks like BDO include the cost of insurance in your monthly payments for the first 12 months of your loan. This means that you don't have to choose choose a provider for credit life insurance or fire insurance straight away. And if you ask, they can extend the insurance cover for however long you want them to if you don't want to find your own provider. So those are the closing costs and processing fees you need to save for. Now let's discuss the other things that you probably haven't accounted for with your 20% deposit. You might think that you buy the house and move in the next day and everything's good to go, but it's usually not that easy. Not only do you have to buy the house, but you need to organize a few little bits and pieces to make it a smooth process. One of these is organizing movers. If you have furniture already, you need to pay to get it from one place to the other. And most people have more belongings than what will fit in their own car. Hiring movers can be a great way to ease the stress of moving day, and a lot of movers will be happy to assist in dismantling furniture and building it in your new home again for an extra fee. Beyond the actual movers though, if you'd rather do it yourself, you'd probably need to hire a van or a truck, which can be expensive, plus the petrol to fuel the tank. Even just buying boxes and packing materials can really add up. But what if you don't have everything you need? Well, it's likely that you've bought an unfurnished property, so you'll have to buy it yourself. If it's an appliance like a dishwasher or an air conditioner, you'll have to pay for the actual item, delivery, the installation. You might even need an electrician in to come in and install an extra wall socket so you can actually plug it in and use it. Other furniture might be more important to you, like a new couch, a new bed mattress, a kitchen table. All of these things are really costly. So when you're creating your savings goal for purchasing a home, budget this in so you don't forget. The other thing that you'll need ready to go when you move into your new home are your utilities. If you want to turn on the lights, plug in your fridge, you'll need to set up your utilities in advance at your new home. Keep in mind that many companies will charge a fee if you cancel a contract early, and your internet company might not allow you to transfer your service from one property to another without starting a new contract. All of this depends on your providers, so plan ahead well in advance as soon as you consider buying a house to maximize your savings. Waiting an extra month or two might actually save you a lot in cancellation fees. Billed annually, property taxes are compulsory to pay no matter where you are or what you buy, but they can vary in price depending on the property's locality, the property size, if it's a corner lot, surrounding attractions, highways, and more. And if you have a vision for your perfect home but you weren't able to find it on the market, renovations are a great way to make use of a home with a good floor plan already established. Adding on an extra room or two can not only increase the quality of your living, it can also add value to your home. But renovations don't come cheap, so if you need to send money aside for it, do it soon if you want to see your dream house built. Alternatively, if you're buying a home that has been foreclosed, it's likely it's been empty for quite some time, so you'll need to invest some cash to get it fresh, clean, and sparkling again. So what's the final takeaway? My number one tip is to do your research. Create a budget including all the costs associated with buying a home, and then use that budget to set a savings goal. Preparation is key for things to go smoothly when you're purchasing a home. You don't want to end up purchasing a home only to find out you don't have enough to furnish it, or worse, you need to get a personal loan with a super high interest rate to furnish your new place. So in saying that, it really does pay to be prepared. But before we end this video, I would just like to mention two things. Firstly, if you're in the real estate industry and you've got clients who could use a loan specialist, we'd love to work with you to help your clients find the best financing for their situation. Estra Finance has a great referral program with uncapped commissions, so please sign up to our referral program using the link below. And secondly, if you're a potential home buyer and you're looking for some expert guidance from before you start buying your home to getting your loan approved to refinancing your home to get a second one, we're here to help. So check out our website and jump on our waitlist using the link below. We will be reaching out to every single one of you on launch day, which is coming up very soon, so make sure you get in early. And that is a wrap on that. Please show your support with a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Inga!